Okay, am I audible? Yeah, okay. People say, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I say, judge a book by its cover. Now, how many of you just judged me for making this statement? Let's be honest, most of you did. What I'd like to talk about today includes decoding the act of judgment. Firstly, what is the act of judgment? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the act of judgment refers to quote unquote the process of forming an opinion or evaluating by discerning or comparing. Now, I'd like to analyze this definition to help you all understand the importance and relevance of this act in our day-to-day lives. The definition allows us to think that judgment, after all, is but a mere tool to help us evaluate different situations and make different decisions by forming opinions. Okay, so now, for example, we have Anita Kamal ma'am. I would like to be her friend. So what would ideally be the next step that I would be taking? I go up to her and I converse with her, right? What do I do after that? I judge. I judge the conversation we've just had. I judge the way she would have spoken, her body posture, her hand movements, etc. Isn't that how we all decide whether or not we like the vibe of a person and whether we'd like to be their friend or not? How do you think interviewers choose the right candidate for various roles and responsibilities? How do you think the famous psychologist, Mr. Sigmund Freud, formulated his theory of personality? Then the real question here, ladies and gentlemen, is that why do we perceive the act of judgment to be that of a negative one? Allow me to explain using the glass half full, half empty theory. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with what this theory means, the phrases glass half full and glass half empty together refer to the perception that we have towards things in life. So, here is a glass with water. Now, if you look at it as being glass half full, it means that you have a positive perception towards it, right? And if you call it half empty, it means you have a negative perception. Now, the approach that we have towards the act of judgment is no different. The act of judgment helps us in our day-to-day lives, and let's be honest here, it doesn't necessarily have to impact you in a negative manner. It all depends on you. Let me talk about an experience from my own life. Now, throughout my life, I was constantly pushed to give it my best, time after time, ranging from my academics to taking parts in all kinds of extracurriculars out there. And I was critically judged for every single decision that I made and every step that I took every single time by my parents. Now, obviously, I did not like when it happened back then, but what I did not realize is that that judgment was what has been fueling me ever since to give it my best, and now I can safely say that I have flourished. So now this was an example of judgment impacting people in a positive manner. Now let's talk about the negative perception of judgment. Let's say hypothetically, I allowed their judgment to get to my head, mess with my head. It wouldn't have given me that push to give myself, and I wouldn't have been able to take part in various extracurriculars and academics. And I probably wouldn't be standing here today before you all giving a TEDx talk today. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, the judgment that you take in from people, the way that you take in the judgment forms the foundation of the perception that you have of yourself, and you are not without your perception. Now moving on to the factors that help you decide your navigation of making a decision. What are the different factors that help you decide whether or not you want to judge someone? Well, if I were to speak for myself, I had come up with an approach known as the A to H approach, consisting of 8 different letters starting from A through H, which stands for 8 different questions that you pose to yourself, and if you answer them, you will know whether or not you have to judge someone or something. Coming on to the A stands for action or character. Am I judging a person's specific action, or am I making a generalization based on the person's entire character? It is more appropriate to judge a single action of a person, but character judgments can turn out to be totally harsh and unfair. Moving on to the B. B stands for the phrase beneficial or detrimental. Now, is the judgment that you are posing serving a beneficial, that is a constructive, or a detrimental, a destructive purpose? Ask yourself if the judgment that you are passing on is seeking to help the person grow, improve, and make better decisions, or is it ruining the person's self-esteem or their relationship with others? Constructive criticism or feedback may be of great help, but criticism for the sake of it may not be. Now we move on to the C. C stands for connection. Connection means relevance or relation, right? Think about whether you have a direct role or responsibility involved in the situation that you are trying to assess, giving you a basis for judgment. Try not to overstep boundaries or interfere unnecessarily if your judgment isn't required. Ask yourself why you feel the urge to judge the person or the situation. Is it because you have a personal motive, a motive to feel superior, criticize, or belittle the person? Or is it to genuinely help? Understanding your motivation is a crucial aspect of deciding your decision of judgment. Now we move on to the D. The D stands for divergent thinking. Think about whether the situation that you are trying to assess has alternative perspectives and explanations to it, so that you can try to understand the situation from different angles. Strive to be fair, impartial, and objective, clear of all kinds of biases, stereotypes, emotions, and expectations, be it personal or otherwise. Incorporate the fact that people may have contextual or cultural factors backing their actions up, factors that may be unknown to you, and respect that individuals have their diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Next, we have E. E stands for empathy. Now this goes without saying. One expects you to empathize with the person in the situation you're trying to judge. Look from their perspective. Try to think of the challenges and circumstances they've been through. Consider how you might feel if you were put in their shoes and someone were to judge you in a similar situation. Empathy can lead to a more balanced perspective and overall understanding, leading to a better judge of character. Next, we have F. F stands for facts. Have I gathered enough information, or have I understood the context enough of the situation to pass on my judgment? Incomplete and biased information can lead to very unfair judgments. So try to have a 360-degree understanding of the situation as well as the person's perspective. Next, we have G, which stands for the phrase, go easy on yourself. Think about whether the judgment that you are passing on is critical for your own safety, decision making, and understanding. Make sure that the repercussions of you judging someone or something else isn't negatively affecting you along the way. It's as the Gen Z says, self-love comes first. Next, we have the final letter, H. H stands for humility. So now humility in this sense refers to introspecting on your own mistakes and imperfections before you decide to pass on your judgment. Looking back at your own fallacies can help you have a more empathetic nature and perspective towards that person or the situation that you're judging, can help you understand the situation better overall. Okay, so now let us revise the 8 letters, shall we? A stands for action or character. B stands for beneficial or detrimental. C stands for connection. D stands for divergent thinking. E stands for empathy, F stands for facts, G stands for the phrase, go easy on yourself, and H stands for humility. The act of judgment serves as the ABC or the foundation of moral decision making, which plays a crucial aspect in defining who you are as a person. So the next time someone asks you for words starting with these 8 letters, I hope these are the first words that come to your mind. Thank you and have a wonderful day.